Yo, what's good, kings and queens? It's your girl, Royalty, and today we have a restoration video. So we have our Jordan 5 Blue Suede, which released in September of 2017. As you can see, they are done. These things are cooked, and so I'm going to show you guys how to get them back. The uppers toasted, and so are the bottoms, but we're going to get them from that back to this. As you can see, we did our thing. We did a re-dye and re-ice the soles, and I'll show you that, but first let's spin that intro. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and take out these shoestrings. Now we're gonna use our shoe form because when cleaning, it's nice to have a good reinforced surface. So look at the bottoms. We're gonna get to those, but the first thing we're gonna do is actually go ahead and clean the uppers. As you can see here, they're not too bad, but we're going to start with them. So I have my bowl of water here. I have my Rejuvenator cleaning solution, and I have a brass bristle brush for the bottoms. Gonna just use 2 squirts. And here's some more brushes that help me get deep into the soles to get those cleaned. All right, so right away we're gonna go in with our brass bristle brush and just go to work on the outsoles here. Next, I'm going to use the smaller bristle brush. I'm going to use these smaller brushes to get into the midsole. I like using these because I have a little bit more control, and it gets these stubborn dark spots out. Now that that's all done, we're going to take our drip, which is our sole sauce, put it only on the translucent areas here. So once we're done with this, we're going to go ahead and wrap that with saran wrap. I usually do 2 pieces like this because it just secures a little bit better, leaves less air pockets. And my bad, y'all, I forgot to actually record the process of putting these under the UV light, but as you can see, they're icy. But here I go in with a suede eraser to get out any dirt, stains on the upper. All right, before we get started here, we have taped off all the icy parts of the shoe, the translucent. I still got to tape this off here, but once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and brush the suede so we let it dry. And now it's stiff, so I'm going to go in with my brass bristle brush. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just brush it out, boom, 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 all the way. And make sure that the suede is moving so we have a good surface to start applying our dye to. So the one thing that I didn't do initially was tape off all the non-suede areas. I definitely suggest you do that, because if you don't, when you spray your dye, it's definitely going to discolor your midsole and your mesh. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my brush to go ahead and soften up the suede, and that way we have a good surface for the application of the dye. The suede dye that we're going to be using is by Angelus, and it is just called Blue. I'm going to use some gloves, a towel, and I suggest just being really careful with the dye because it definitely will stain. So I always put the cap back on before I get started. And then I'm going to do a couple test sprays with my airbrush just to make sure that it's coming out clean and smooth. Now we're just going to go ahead and go around the shoe and spray it. So as you can see, I noticed that it was discoloring those lace holes there and the midsole, so I'm cleaning that up right now. And after I apply the dye, I make sure to go in with the brush, and that way it's not super saturated in one area. and apply as many coats as you need. But that is it. That is how you dye an upper on a Jordan 5. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the video. If you stayed this long, please consider giving it a like. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment for me. I'll get back to you. And if you're not a part of the Royal family, hit that subscribe button, join the fam, and I'll see y'all in the next one.